Retro Rob's gaming videos.
Hey, Rob here, and we're going to talk about my very first game system, which was the Mego Mini-Vid Breakfree. It was a Pong game. It was made back in 1978 or 1979, depending on who you ask. This is a really pretty rare system. There were actually quite a few made, but they're rare because they were largely defective. I will show you plenty of the defects. But what this game system does have going for it is it's fun as heck, number one. Number two, it allows for single player or two player play, which is pretty cool, and I'll show you that. But number three, because it uses a VFD screen, that's a vacuum fluorescent display, you can play it in the dark, so it lights up. And that, think about it, I mean, Game Boy Advance, the first model, didn't even have that capability. So you can play this under the covers. And by the way, I did get, sorry Mom, I got in trouble a couple times for playing this late into the night because, you know, video games were few and far between. The Atari did exist at this time, but it was like super expensive. I think it was the modern equivalent of like $700-800 today. So it took a while before my parents got me an Atari. They wanted to make sure I was really into video games, which come to find out I really was. Ha. But anyway, wasn't my only handheld that they got me. They also got me baseball and a Space Invaders game, but this by far was the longest played of them all. So let's talk a second about Mego. Mego is a company best known for making the Micronauts series of toys, which were really awesome little toys. In fact, I'm probably flashing a couple of them right here. They were also one of my favorite toys growing up, and I really enjoyed them. But they made more than that. They made the Star Trek figures from the first film. They made Disney's Black Hole figures, if you know even what Disney's Black Hole is. Buck Rogers, they made the figures for, if you remember, those were pretty fondly remembered. And they also made the 2XL robot toy, which I think is a favorite among collectors as well. So they made a lot of toys, and I'm pretty sure that this was the only gaming system they made, although I'm not 100% sure on that one. Well, it's about time that we open this puppy up and try it out. But first, I want to give a big shout out to Electronic Plastic at www.electronicplastic.com. Link, of course, below in the comments section. I had a very hard time locating this. It took a long time, and I have to tell you, I ran into their website, and they are basically a database of handheld gaming devices. And you can search by color, by the type, by the brand, and you know, after years of searching, in about 5 minutes I was able to determine the actual name of this system. So really, thank you guys. It really helped me find, you know, a game that was, you know, pretty important in my childhood and probably set me in the direction of video gaming, for better or worse. But maybe for better, because I'm also in IT, and you know, that makes decent money, so I can buy all these silly toys that I play with. Alright, so let's get this thing open. The color never matches the one on the box, at least not in my experience and not in the experience of videos that I've seen. There's not a lot of them out there, but I've only seen the red for the Breakfree. It is actually fairly well packaged. Mine made it from Venezuela, where it was brand new in box. It isn't anymore. I did get it a few days ago, and I have checked it to make sure it works, because these are defective as hell in general. Here is the manual before I go on to the system. It's a little brown, but looks fine. The English is quite good on it. That is because this is an American company that was just producing these in Hong Kong at the time. Yes, that's original. That's factory right there. No blister pack for this. This is the late 70s. 50/50. Now, here's the front of the device. We're not going to talk about that quite yet, because that's not very defective except for the buttons. The back of the device, however, is where the defects are. Battery compartment. It's actually too small. You can barely get a battery in here. Most people say you can't. I can, but I made a slight modification, which I made when I was a kid, and I made it to this one too. If you look on the inside lip here, I have actually cut out a little extra on the lip. And I did that as a kid too, so that I could actually get a battery in here. So there's the battery head. Another defect in these, which I've corrected on this, is the solder wasn't very good. So they tend to lose connection right up here in the head. So I took care of that right away because mine was already right out of the box. It was already coming off of the solder. Alright, so 9-volt battery. This battery is far in excess of what was available back then. Our measly batteries back then. The Energizer was yet to be invented, I believe. Of course, it's still just 9 volts, so, but they last longer. All right. The other thing is it's ill-fitting. All right, so the real trick to getting this in is to slide the front in first underneath the lip, and then you press it in. Now, here's the problem. You stand about a 50% chance of it not making it in without disconnecting, which I just did because I'm demonstrating. But anyway, I'll do it without the camera on. But anyway, you shove it in head first like this while making sure that this does not come loose. What a pain. Okay, mission successful. The battery cover is now on. 2 hours later. No, I'm kidding. It didn't take that long. But really the trick is you shove it in head first and you make sure to ball up the wires a little bit so that they're ahead of the here, so that they're a little bit ahead of it, so that you don't take the connection off when you're installing the battery. And then we just slide this on, and as you can see, it slides on perfectly now. And we're going to talk about defect number 2. The power button is the worst freaking power button in the world. Let's turn it on, shall we? Oh look, it did nothing. Not a surprise, because you gotta set it to reset and then pull it back. And now it's on. Actually, you can see it. It's in 2-player mode. And this is 2-player mode, and basically what you do is... And by the way, these buttons, however, not defective. They work really well, and mine worked until the day it croaked. But as you can see in the 2-player version of this... Wait, there we go. That's a good shot. You have 2 lines behind, and each player tries to destroy all the bricks of the other player. Pretty cool, right? Let's go to the 1-player modes. And by the way, the modes are set through this switch right here. 1-player easy, 1-player hard, and 2-player. I'll be right back with the 1-player modes. And we're back with the single-player modes. And I've got it upside down, but I am going to show you something important. By the way, in the background there is Retro Magazine. Check them out at readretro.com. Here is the first single-player mode, number 1. Number 2 is the faster single-player mode, and number 3 is the 3-player mode. To move up and down. I didn't really show you that very closely in the last scene, so I figured I'd cover that now. Okay, so here is the on, off, and reset. Remember that on doesn't actually do anything, except sometimes it'll do that. And you flip it to reset, and then on. And now here's single player. There we go. Now, some people have said that you have to keep pressing these buttons like this. You do not. If I hold down the button, see, it'll keep moving. Now, an interesting thing about this game is there's only one level. Once I clear or lose all my balls, the game is over and it presents a score. Top score is 30. Second mode. Did I say it was faster earlier? That's not true. Second mode is actually you just get a smaller paddle. Oop, see? Gotta reset. That was on my other unit too, so it's not a defect in this one. It's just how they are. See? And the ball is a little bit faster, I guess. So here is how I spent my childhood. What was your first video game? Why don't you let me know? Also, next week, 2 videos are coming out. One is on the Vouse Pong controller that you get with Arkanoid in Japan. Actually, you got it in the US too, but they came in prettier colors in Japan. And I also have a VGA adapter for the Dreamcast, and I'd like to show you the difference between running that and just running it through regular composite out. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor. Comment, thumbs up, and subscribe for more. Bye.